for the next 22 minutes commercial-free because Yahoo pointed out that the biggest flaw for every Super Bowl contender and for the Broncos, they are saying it is Bo Nix. Denver Broncos quarterback Bo Nix, and I'm now reading, has a 94.7 QB rating in the fourth quarter this season and an 11-1 touchdown to interception ratio with a 99.6 QBR when the team is trailing. He's been instrumental in many of the team's fourth quarter comebacks this year. However, there has also been plenty of bad football from the second-year quarterback that ultimately might keep Denver from reaching the Super Bowl. What do you make of Yahoo saying that Denver's biggest flaw, and just to give you some other examples, the Bills, they said a woeful run defense.
Right,
Philly,
right.
They said offensive volatility. What do you make of Yahoo saying, hey, we're just going to keep it simple? The Broncos' biggest Super Bowl potential flaw is Bo Nix.
Yeah, I think that's a little ridiculous. Where are quarterbacks judged? They're judged how they do against the blitz. They're judged how they do on third down, and they're judged how they do in the red zone. And I would add another one like the fourth quarter. Isn't Bo Nix pretty much excellent at all those things? Under the blitz, he's one of the best in the league. Third downs could use a little work, right, of course, with this offense stumbling at times. But fourth quarter, he's money. So if you had to pick a flaw, and I don't know if this was written... Well, it was written after the JK Dobbins injury, so I can't say it's like without the JK. No, it's written after the JK Dobbins injury. It's running the football.
Right.
That's their biggest flaw. It's not Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a work in progress. Bo Nix has had a sophomore slump, not a sophomore jump. But if fourth quarter he's money, under pressure he's money, he can't be the biggest flaw on this team. So I think whoever wrote that, and I did look, it wasn't my buddy Frank Schwab, who kind of runs things over there at Yahoo, and it's a great job. So whoever this is that wrote that at Yahoo, they're not thinking of everything it takes to play quarterback. Is he consistent this year? No. Outside of the Dallas game and the Chiefs game, he's had 2 complete games. That's it. Great fourth quarter against the Giants, great fourth quarter against the Eagles, other times, other flashes. So is Bo Nix consistent? No. Does he need to be? Yes, of course. But is that the biggest flaw on this team? Or is it the fact that they are not really going to be able to run the ball without JK Dobbins? They have not proven that yet. It's only been a game, but still very, very important piece of the puzzle that they're just flat out missing right now.
So your mind goes to, hey, maybe Bo hasn't been perfect, but there are other bigger flaws. And the point of this exercise was to identify the biggest flaw, and you have issue with that selection being Bo Nix. You would have gone to the running game. I think you could go to the pass catchers as well before you go to Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Yes. Not only the drop rate, but just the lack of explosiveness. I mean, how many times is it, hey, Bo's throwing a deep ball to Troy. Oh, and it didn't work. With Troy Franklin. Now, he had the huge catch against the Chiefs to set up Will Lutz's game-winning field goal, but some of the numbers are alarming, and if I have to hear one more time, well, they had the chemistry at Oregon. Why don't they,
Of course, yes.
I actually agree with you. I would say running game's a bigger flaw, and I would just group pass catchers in the whole. Now, if you wanted to go specifically, I'd say tight end, because Evan Engram's been underwhelming in a Broncos uniform.
His drop rate's one of the worst for a tight end.
And he's just disappeared at times. He's just not on the football field.
Yeah.
Certainly, I don't think we'd go anything on the defensive side of the ball, but if the Broncos don't make the Super Bowl, we both agree it's going to be the offense, but neither of us goes right to the quarterback a la Yahoo.
Yeah, a la Yahoo, directly for Bo Nix, which, again, it's like, are you not understanding the flaws that are here with this team? Defensively, we might be able to talk about Riley Moss, and we can have that conversation about Riley.
We had that bump because we had some breaking Buffs news with QBs, but we will get into that.
We'll get back to the Riley Moss, kind of talk and conversation. But offensively, I can't point my finger at Bo Nix when I see so many other flaws. The drop rates, the tight end position, and for me, just the lack of running the football. And what kind of knocks you off course. In the playoffs, playoff hockey changes. Playoff basketball changes. And you bet your ass playoff football changes. And it becomes merely this. Who can run the ball, who can play great defense. The Broncos can play great defense. There is no doubt. Can they run the ball? That I'm not going to say that they can't, but they haven't shown that they can without JK Dobbins. And there's nobody coming there. I'll use the old line of like, hey, Peyton Manning's not walking through that door. Hey, guess what? Terrell Davis isn't walking through that door. You've got to go with what you've got because Dameon Pierce said no to you. You have not yet gone out and got someone off a practice squad like a Jeff Wilson. You didn't do anything at the trade deadline. This could be the thing that knocks this team off course. This could be the thing that robs them of their chances at a Super Bowl. The inability to run. Let's say you're playing with a lead. Bo Nix got a lead, fourth quarter, tough. The Bills come in, right? They're the 7 seed, and they come in here to Denver. But you need to eat out the clock. You need to grind this thing down, and you just can't because you don't have – JK was so nice. What a luxury, right? 1st and 10, 2nd and 3.
Mm-hmm. We haven't had that since Philip Lindsay.
The first carry is always, at 5, 6, 7 yards. Sean Payton's got a lot in his playbook for 2nd and 3.
Right.
Now with RJ Harvey, it's just kind of who he is. 1 yard, negative 2 yards, 50 yards. But you have to make sure that 50-yarder's in there somewhere, or else it's like this last time out where it's 11 carries and it's like 3 yards a carry. That's not good enough. As excited as we can be about RJ Harvey, merely put, it's a production-based business, and that's not the production you want.
Well, and Sean Payton took a handful of questions on his conference call yesterday. First time we've heard from Sean since after the Chiefs game, and was asked about that running game against Kansas City.
The number of touches that we had, the number of runs we had was down. Looking back at it, Jalil had a handful of good runs, and I think with the flow of a normal game, he's going to be important for us in this stretch. Obviously, RJ as well, and then Prentice played probably one of his better games. He didn't just play at the fullback position, but he actually went in with some of the pressure stuff that we were getting from Kansas City on 3rd down and was outstanding.
All right, with all due respect to Adam Prentice, when you have to cite Adam Prentice as a reason your running game went
right.
You're kind of thin at that position, and you could even hear it in Sean's voice of like, well, Jalil had some good runs. So I think the million-dollar question as we start to shift the focus to the Commanders, and we'll give you more of a full preview of Broncos in Washington tomorrow, is Jalil McLaughlin the new starting running back on this football team?
Here's the problem. Every time he's on the field, he's getting the ball. That's a complete tell.
Because he can't pass block?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we look on the season entering the game against Kansas City, RJ Harvey had 4 pass block snaps. The season.
That's
4.
low. Very
Against
low.
Kansas City, he doubled it. He had 4. He's got 8 pass block snaps right now. Jalil McLaughlin barely, even less than RJ Harvey, gets those pass block snaps. I talked to Joe Lombardi about this when Jalil was a rookie, because 83% of the time when he was on the field, he was getting the ball. Guess what they're at now? 83% of the time, Jalil McLaughlin's on the field, he's getting the ball. That's a total tell.
Right.
If 38's on the field, he's getting the rock because he's not pass protecting, and he's getting it on a screen pass or some sort of toss play. I don't mind the idea of more Jalil, but also with that, it's gonna need, you gotta pass protect, man. He added 12 pounds of muscle to his upper body, and you can tell. We've actually seen him break some tackles this year. I don't want Bo Nix to get hurt, but at the same time, I don't want it to be a tell when Jalil McLaughlin's out there. He has to pass protect. You have to put him in those positions, and if he can't do that, then why is he playing?
But didn't it look to you like Jalil was running angry against Kansas City?
Yeah, he's very fired up for his opportunity.
I mean, that was a guy who was ticked off that he couldn't get a jersey.
He doesn't get a jersey most weeks.
Can he keep that fire, though? Or is that sustainable? Because, and we can talk to Philip about this when he comes in it, too. I think it's human nature the first time you get a chance to do something, you're going to go to the wall, right? Can you every week go out there and go, well, I didn't get a jersey the first 10 weeks, so I'm going to run with my hair on fire? It doesn't really feel sustainable, right? It doesn't feel like that's a formula of, just ticked off Jalil is going to feed him. And you heard it from Sean there even. He likes some of Jalil's runs, but let's be honest. If Jalil was good enough to play week in and week out, he would have been playing week in and week out right now. I think it goes back to a little bit of our Dameon Pierce conversation as well, as I wasn't the biggest Dameon Pierce guy on planet Earth, but also now that the trade deadline has come and gone, like your running back room is an underwhelming RJ Harvey, a drop case in Tyler Bidet, and I can't get a jersey in Jalil McLaughlin.
Good luck.
It's a terrible running back room. It just
it's not
is.
Great, Bob. No, not at all. And if you're Jalil McLaughlin, can you keep that fire and energy? We know what the answer is. The answer is no. On a weekly basis, can you drum that up? Here's the good and the bad. It is a double-edged sword, and I believe in telling the truth. The truth isn't meant to make you feel good, so sorry, Jalil. This one's probably going to sting a little bit. Jalil McLaughlin is getting more run, right? If he does do that. My fear is that it'll be a three-headed committee. He won't get those extra looks, those extra carries, those extra snaps. So every time he comes on the field, what is he going to be doing? He's going to be pressing. He's going to be pressing, and that's all he's going to be doing is he's going to continue to press, and he's going to try to make a big play. Sometimes you just got to jam it up in there for 3 yards, and I believe he'd be more capable of that this year because of the 12 pounds, and it's all upper body. Like his lower body's still slender. His upper body's different now.
Mm-hmm.
So 12 pounds is significant to
a lot
just
of weight.
one part of your body.
It's a lot of weight.
But he's got to be able to prove that he's not trying to hit a home run every time he's out there. He's not trying, because then you start doing things that lack discipline. As I said, sometimes it's blocked for 3. You just got to take that 3. And stopping and starting and trying to bounce it outside, that doesn't work at the pro level. This isn't Youngstown State. Not even close. So my fear is that Jalil won't get those extra snaps. And then when he does get on the field, it's like, I can do it, coach. And then you're trying to do too much every time. I'd like him to get those more snaps because then he understands, hey, I'm part of this. I'm a big part of this. He can be even the leading rusher for this team on a weekly basis, even with limited touches and even working in a 3-headed committee, because it's not there yet with RJ. Maybe it never gets there, but we haven't seen it as a runner outside of 2 runs on the season. So with Jalil, he actually has to play more to do more, which doesn't sound philosophical. It just sounds ridiculous, but he needs to play more and actually in some of those snaps just pass block, not actually touch the ball, but be on the field where the defense isn't able to know you're getting the ball.
And do you think that Sean Payton, he doesn't love this because that would be naive. Sean's too good a football coach to love this. But do you think there's a tiny little part of Sean Payton that now that he doesn't have JK Dobbins is just like, bleep it, I get to throw the ball 40 times a game with Bo Nix?
Pretty sure there's a little bit.
I think there's a little in him.
1%, 5%. Give me a number. I'm going to agree with it.
20%.
25%?
Yeah. Like, I think there's a tiny part of Sean Payton that's like, well, now that I don't have JK, no one can blame me for not running the ball. I'm just going to chuck it all over the field with Bo.
Right. And that's a problem because there will be moments where you need to grind out that play clock. And Vince Lombardi said 3 things can happen when you throw the ball. 2 of them are bad. One's a pick, one's an incompletion. So I kind of like that where I'm guaranteed the clock is going to run, but you've got to move those chains. You've got to get those first downs on the ground, and I really don't know who that is. It's not Tyler Bidet.
No, he didn't even get a carry against the Chiefs. Didn't get a single
He's
carry,
getting
and
pass
that's
block
without
carry.
JK Dobbins.
He's getting pass block snaps, and then he's dropping passes left and right.
Do you know what their yard per carry was? And I'm quizzing you a little bit. I get
Okay.
it. But what do you think their yard per carry was against the Chiefs?
As a team,
Mm-hmm.
it was less than 3 yards, right?
It was 2.8.
2.8. Yeah, I was going to say 2.9, but
RJ, 2.7 yards a carry.
not great, Bob.
Jalil, 3.2 yards per carry.
Better, but how many times did we bag on Javonte Williams? Because Javonte is like 3 yards a carry, like, this isn't good enough. Yet everyone's like, they're fine. I still see that. I see it on social. Sometimes I see it in the YouTube chat. Shout out YouTube. We see it on the RamosLaw.com text line. Why are you guys hating on RJ Harvey? Why are you guys hating on Jalil McLaughlin? It's a production-based business, and they're not producing at the expected rate. All these other rookie backs, whether they're second-rounders like RJ Harvey or seventh-rounders like Kyle Monangai with the Chicago Bears, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I know he's been benched now, but like he was doing some things for the Commanders previously. Almost all of these rookie running backs are kind of producing. Once in a while, you know, there's a flash here and there. Look at the breakout of Travion Henderson.
Sure.
Look at Quinshon Judkins. Hell, look at Dylan Simpson with the Browns. On a 66-yard, Shedeur just flicks it. Kid takes it 66 yards.
He gone.
I know that RJ's done that as a receiver, but he needs to do it as a runner because that's what this team needs. Their biggest flaw, it's not Bo Nix. It's their lack of that guy that can get you that tough yard, 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, plug it up in there, go get you those 3 yards. They don't really have that guy right now.
Well, and that brings us full circle on where we started this conversation. Yahoo identified the Broncos' biggest Super Bowl flaw as Bo Nix, and Bo Cecil and I think it's the running game, and we just spent time dissecting why that is and sort of the writing on the wall that unfortunately it's not going to get a lot better because it's November 25th and you can't really remake your roster. I also mentioned the pass catchers, though, as well, and I'm sick of the quote-unquote chemistry between Bo Nix and Troy Franklin that seemingly doesn't exist. Here was Sean Payton talking about Troy Franklin taking next steps this season.
I think he's explosive out of his break. I think he's not afraid to compete at all. He's real good at the line of scrimmage with his releases. I think there's a confidence that Bo has with him. It's a little bit what we saw from Marvin. I'm happy with that room. I mean, those guys are all competing, working hard, and going against some real good defenses.
I mean, Sean's not going to throw Troy under the bus because Sean's the one who has Troy Franklin basically leading this team in targets this season,
Right.
which is insane that it's not Cortland Sutton, that it's Troy Franklin.
That's wrong-headed, by the way. It needs to be Cortland.
It has to be Cortland. You just paid Cortland. Why'd you
He's
pay
the number
Cortland?
one. He's the number one. What are we doing? I don't need, like you, I don't need they played at Oregon. Yeah, we know. We got it.
We get it.
Cortland's more productive than Troy. It needs to be 10 targets a game for Cortland Sutton, period, full stop. And then Troy gets second, whatever, 8 targets, 6 targets. I don't care. It needs to be 10 targets every game for Cortland Sutton. And you know what the conversation is? Well, the defenses are double-teaming Court. Yeah, they double-team Amon-Ra St. Brown.
He still makes it
They
work.
double-team Justin Jefferson. They double-team a lot of number one receivers out there, and those guys still get theirs. And Court's not the type of guy to say something. I wish Court had a little bit of Brandon Stokely, because we love Stoke. We love him. But we know he's a diva, right? And we love him for his diva nature. I wouldn't mind if Sutton had a little bit of that Stoke in him where he's like, hey, give me the rock, give me the rock, give me the rock. Because Bo would listen. You'd listen. Bo stood on the table for Court to get him paid. And now you're not using him? You're not using him enough, that's for sure.
Well, you look at the targets this year. Troy Franklin has 81. Cortland Sutton has 74.
That's wrong.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Meanwhile, Cortland Sutton has 140 more yards than Troy Franklin. Think about that. 7 fewer targets, 140 more yards, and their catches are almost identical. Troy with 46, Cortland with 45. That means Troy Franklin's catching a little more than half his targets, whereas Cortland Sutton's catching about 2/3 of his targets.
Mm-hmm.
Throw the ball to 14 more. Is this Commanders game a get-right game, if you will, for Cortland Sutton? It feels like he's been awful quiet. He had the great touchdown catch against the Texans a few weeks ago. I mean, that was gorgeous. But it just feels like Cortland hasn't had many explosive moments over the last month or so.
I think that's why Troy's catches are down, because he's the guy they throw the long ones, as you mentioned earlier, like, it's off target. It's a Bover throw to Troy Franklin. Like, as great as their chemistry was at Oregon, you don't really see it translate in the way that you would think.
No.
Part of that's on Troy and his drop rate. Part of it's on Bo and the Bover throws. So funny. But I would like to see more Court. Is it a get-right game? I hope so, because that would look real nice for these Denver Broncos.
Well, and to be fair, on that last drive to beat the Chiefs, Bo did hook up with Cortland a couple different times on that drive,
Some
including
big ones there, yeah.
the massive 3rd and 15 for 20 yards. I mean, at the time, that was one of the biggest throws of Bo Nix's career, because I think we all agree 3rd and 15, if you have to punt there, Mahomes is driving down, running out the clock, and Harrison Butker's kicking a game-winning walk-off field goal.
Yeah.
And they found Cortland for 20 yards. So I do need to be fair there and give him the credit. The problem is it just hasn't been consistent enough. It's been few and far between. And then we're complaining about Troy Franklin. Well, he also hit Troy Franklin for that huge 15-yard gain to really get them into comfortable field goal range with under a minute to go as well. So it's not that Cortland and Troy haven't made plays. I mean, we have a game-winning drive the last time the Broncos took the field as an example. It's that they just disappear for large stretches of time. And we hear from Sean going, well, Troy's out there competing. Competing's an answer you give me in July, dude.
Right.
You know what I care about competing? Training camp. I care about results in November, not July.
Yeah, not July. I care about this team getting to a Super Bowl, and how do you do that? Kev just told me that the great Demaryius Thomas had 10 targets a game with Peyton Manning. Why can't we do that with Cortland Sutton? And by the way, I have seen some coverage roll towards Troy. So if Troy is actually getting double-teamed and Court's one-on-one, then those passes better be for Court. He's coming through. He's clutch for his guy. That's why against the Chiefs on some of those third downs, you could go to Cortland Sutton. He is clutch. I think Pat Bryant is clutch as well, but he's, further down in the pecking order. I think more Marvin Mims could kind of help this passing game and the running game. Give him a handoff or two a game. Supplement and maybe boost that average as a team. But yeah, this whole Troy Franklin thing, it's a little bizarre that he's got way more targets than Cortland Sutton.
It's crazy. If you had to power rank the Broncos receivers 1 through 4, not in terms of who's the best, but who you want to see get the ball the most, what would your list look like 1 to 4? And we're not going to put Evan Engram in this exercise. We're strictly no, it's okay, no disrespect. I just want to strictly do wide receivers.
Okay. Pecking order is this.
Who you want to see get the football.
Court, Marvin, Troy, Pat.
My list is the exact same. I would put Marvin at 2. I'd put Marvin ahead of Troy. Yeah.
He's more explosive than Troy. He's shiftier when it comes to quickness, and he's still fast. Troy's just fast in a straight line, which is awesome. Marvin can do more after the catch.
And Marvin Mims, he did have that time in concussion protocol. He's only played in 9 games. Guess how many catches Marvin Mims has this year?
12.
22. But still.
Okay.
That just feels low.
Yeah.
We're at Thanksgiving, and Marvin Mims has 22 catches.
And remember, last year, he started to get going.
He did.
And then kind of took off. Why aren't we seeing more of Marvin Mims?
It's $1 million question.
That's something that needs to be corrected.
And let's hope it starts to look like it did against Cleveland last year. We all remember the touchdown, the 2 against the Bengals in Cincinnati. Let's start having those kind of moments.